It is anti-dictatorship art, let's say collective/movement, and it started in the end of 2011 when Putin announced that he is going to run for the third term, which actually became kind of point of no return for Russia and for Ukraine also. There was a large protest movement of people across the country who were protesting on the streets, completely different people. And we've been a part of this movement. My first action with Pussy Riot was on the Red Square. There was a song, Putin pissed his pants. And then there was like January elections being held at March. We had the time for one more action, and we were reacting to the situation when Putin started to use the church for kind of a proof for his endless presidency. So we wrote a sarcastic song, Mother Mary Banish Putin, reflecting on the events which were happening that time, on the collaboration of church and state. And we managed to perform 40 seconds of this song in the Cathedral of Christ the Savior, which
Moscow's
is
most important cathedral.
Yeah, Moscow main kind of place for Putin's promotion. Yeah, and then they opened the criminal case, which was surprising. We've been first artists, activists who've been imprisoned for real prison term because of our protest against Putin.
So you were charged with hooliganism.
Motivated by religious hatred.
And you were sentenced to a 2-year jail sentence. You didn't expect that?
No, we didn't. We didn't expect a criminal case, real prison term. And I was actually the first person to whom police came, because others gave fake documents on the previous detentions, and my fake documents didn't work. So yeah, I mean, bad luck probably, or just a fate. So they came to my real address next day after the bank prayer. The guy in plain clothes was waiting for me on the stairs when I was like coming home with my small son from the kindergarten. And it took like some strength to say that I don't know anything about any song, George, what it is. I'm just, yeah. I will come to you tomorrow. So tomorrow, a lawyer came to the police office and said to run, because the criminal case was opened. And a week of adventures in conspiracy apartments, and then they caught us. From I think the second day of imprisonment, I knew that it would be a real prison term if I would not sign the papers that I'm kind of guilty and apologize, which I didn't want to do. I declared hunger strike, like first hunger strike in my life, in Petrovka, which is like a brutal compilation.
One of the main police buildings in Moscow.
Yeah, and oldest. Yeah, and then
almost 2 years in that remote colony near the Ural Mountains. What was it like?
So Russian prison system is different from Western one. We have a legacy of Gulag, actual post-Gulag system. It's a network of penal colonies, which are labor camps. During the pre-trial and trial investigation, you held in jail, like building with cells, but after you receive the sentence, they send you to penal colony. The transportation takes around a month.
1,500 miles or kilometers east of Moscow. That's a long way away.
Normally this way can take like 12 hours, but because of the system, you go to police van, Stolypin wagon, police van, like jail, then again, car, wagon, car, jail. So the whole trip takes a month because they held you in transportation jails on the road, and you don't know where you're going. You don't know when it will finish and what is the final destination. It's Soviet Union system, and during transportation, this is the most kind of fragile for the person, period, because it's not, they can kill you. There are no cameras, there's nothing. Anyway, I was sent to penal colony number 28. It's located near Berezniki town, small town in region. It's quite cold there. It's like minus 35 Celsius in winter. And on the second week, I went to Human Rights Commission and said that state do not provide to women warm clothes. So they locked me to solitary confinement, like for 4.5 months. They were searching for so-called violations of the regime, so we were fighting against them, like in the court, and managed to win. So my first colony received a lot of problems from Moscow because of my existence there, and they sent me to another penal colony, to Nizhny Novgorod, from where I've been released.
Did you get special treatment? I mean, better or worse, given that you were a special prisoner?
Yes. We can say like that. That was prohibited to talk with me. So if some woman would be found talking to me more than one time in the smoking area, they would call her to the office and say that they will open one more time, and they will open a criminal case on the article of disorganization of the work of penal colony, which is up to 3 years. The guy with video camera was always like nearby, filming my every step. So penal colony is different from the prison, so it looks like a strange village divided into two parts. In the living zone, there are barracks. So 100 women live together, sleep in one room. 2 toilets or 3 toilets without borders. No hot water. Kitchen with one fridge. The working zone is a fabric where prisoners sewing police uniform and uniform for Russian army, having £2 per month.
And no one speaks to you?
Yeah, like it was prohibited to speak to me, but after this like fight for warm clothes and basically fight for the disgrace of working day, like put it to normal 8 hours, I think people managed to give me like small pieces of paper with thank you, which was very nice.
Fellow inmates?
Yeah. But this is like, I mean, there are a number of things which they can do to press you. Like, I don't know, when they found out that we are going to the court with my lawyer against them, they started to search me before every visit to the lawyer, and full search like requires gynecological chair, and they don't use gloves.
So you spent almost all of your term in that, what remains of the Gulag system. And after your release, you carried out more protest actions until you left Russia.
Yeah, so basically, Putin wrote a special VIP amnesty because Olympic Games been held in Russia in 2014, and there were questions from Western politicians about political prisoners, about us, about Khodorkovsky, about activists, ecology activists from Arctic Sunrise, and he wrote an act of amnesty for us. A quite Hippocratic paper been named for like mothers of children who like committed heavy crimes, and hooliganism motivated by religious hatred is so-called heavy crime. So 5 people from the whole country been released on this so-called amnesty, and I didn't want to go out. So basically this book, Political Girl, starts in this moment, like when I don't want to go out from the penal colony because Putin wrote some amnesty.
Before we discuss your new book in more detail, can you tell us about why you left Russia and how you left Russia?
Let's start with how. I had second criminal case opened 2021 because I wrote an Instagram post with the call to go to the protest when Navalny came back, and went to protest. So they caught me, took my documents, my international passport, put an electronic anki to my leg, and locked to house arrest. Then several months later, they started to lock me to detention center for 15 days. So in a year, I was like locked 6 times for 15 days with electronic anki. And in during the one of these 15 days, like imprisonment, I've heard the announce of the full-scale invasion. 1 hour Putin's speech from the radio in a cell where I was alone somehow. I realized that it would be a war. Then I was released from this detention center and then like locked again. So first months of the war I spent in detention center, in the cell full of cool people, actually best people, random girls who went to the protest against the war, and I was the only one who just went out because my last year they were just imprisoned me for just existence in the country. And
And
I
you,
wanted to help Ukraine. I mean, as much as I can. At the same time, I desperately didn't want to go out from my country for forever. And I understood that if you run from the criminal case, you run not forever, but like for a long time. You would not like come back legally.
so you escaped from house arrest disguised.
Yeah, I had to change clothes to the delivery service uniform, and we have thousands of couriers, delivering food because apartment was surrounded by political police. I had to like make some stuff like leaving the phone, using the back door, change clothes, go to the secret place where the car was waiting, go to the Belarus and make this attempt to cross the border legally because I didn't want to go through the forest because I had the hope to come back.
And you didn't have a passport.
I didn't have a passport. That's the main problem. To enter European Union, you should have a passport, and that was taken. Yeah.
Looking back at what you were doing back in Russia, you and other opponents of Vladimir Putin, do you ever get a feeling of, the punk prayer, what preceded it and what followed it? It was kind of futile, wasn't it?
What was?
Futile. It didn't work, did it? Given how much in control Vladimir Putin is of Russia at the moment.
It depends on what we call work. So basically the goal, like not the goal, but like for my opinion, one of the goals of political art is to ask uncomfortable questions and raise an attention to make the situation which already exists more clear and more visible. So at this point, I'm sure that many people in the country and here in the West understood that Vladimir Putin is dictator. Yes, the price is the real prison term, but the situation became more visible, more clear, and more loud, I would say. We are not I'm not the government. I don't have tanks. I don't have army. I don't have missile rockets. I cannot put the personal missile attack to the body of Vladimir Putin. I have my body. I have my voice. I have things which I lived and living through. And by doing that, I can share what was and is happening. This is what I can do. And I can act. I can not be indifferent, not stay aside. So as a person and as artist, this is something, this is not zero. So at this point, I think we managed to show about what is this regime about. And not only by punk prayer. I wanted to collect all the adventures which happened after to show that it's not one day when the country can be turned into the fascist state. It's not one moment. It's not just immediately you wake up and, hello, this is totalitarian state. It's a way. It's a slow, patient, painful way to get people used to live like that.
So tell us more about your book, Political Girl, that was published earlier this year.
My life and life of the country since the moment I've been released from the 2 years sentence until the moment I crossed the border with Europe. I made it in a collaboration with another Pussy Riot member, Olga Borisova, and I want to use an opportunity and say a huge thank you for Emily Eccles, who translated this book and who worked in Russia on 90s in another country. It's mosaic of our actions mixed with the context of growing repressions. It's kind of the way to the road to hell, basically, which Putin forced people to go through, and what was happening on this road.
My view is that Russia went from a time when it was possible to protest, even at very, very grave danger to the protesters, to a time when protest is, well, impossible. You are going down, you're going to jail just by liking the wrong sort of post on social media. How did that happen?
That's why I wanted to collect all of that together. There were different moments, and there is no one answer to how it happened. There are methods of silencing people and taking freedoms and hope out of them. For example, 2014. So we've been released. We went to Sochi Olympic using opportunity that we've been released 2 months before the end of the term. Because of Olympic Games, we decided to go to Olympic Games and make an action.
And you were flogged by the Cossacks.
We've been beaten. For the first time, we've been beaten there. No reaction from the West. Everyone, just covered the story and continued to shake hands with these people. Then they annexed Crimea. No reaction. Then it was happening, like events were happening one by one, like very fast. Starting the war in Ukraine, shutting down MH17, no reaction. I mean, we can look to the case of MH17 as an example.
The Malaysia Airlines Boeing airliner shot down over eastern Ukraine.
Yes, almost 300 people in the front of the world killed.
Do you feel let down by the West?
It's not letting down. It's basically like there are a lot of jokes about how deeply concerned European Union is, and like these are the conditions. In Russia, there is a fear. In the West, there is an indifference. I mean, yes, it's hard conditions. At the same time, it's like interesting to work with. I mean, the reality is not New Year's present packed in like nice paper. It's reality.
After Alexei Navalny died, I was doing an interview here at the BBC, and it was like a discussion, and the presenter asked this question: okay, what is the state of the Russian opposition right now after Alexei Navalny's death? And one of the panelists said, the Russian opposition, forget it, it doesn't exist. The only effective, active force that's opposing Vladimir Putin right now is the Ukrainian army. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with any like erasing people or like zeroing their actions. More than 1 million people left Russia after full-scale war to speak the truth, to support Ukraine, to not end up as Putin's collaborators. Some of these people are famous artists who had huge audience, not like protest Pussy Riot, doing actions in unpredictable places, but artists with official venues and an audience. They left everything to be against this regime. And this is something. I think this is important.
So your book is called Political Girl. Are you... who are you now? Are you a political girl? Are you a punk rocker still? Are you a journalist? Who are you, Maria?
I was studying journalism and creative writing, but yeah, I think the best compliment I actually received during last several years was the compliment from one journalist recently in Germany, who was working, by the way, in Chechen wars, that she called my book a war report. It was like super cute. Anyway, I I'm a punk in my heart. I would like never. It's not like a musical genre for me. I live like this, and I don't think that I would like live differently ever. Speaking about being political or not being political, we are all political. Like even if you make a decision to keep silent, you make a political decision of indifference. Recently, a month ago, I received 13 years and 15 days of prison term on the article of fakes about Russian army because of the anti-war song "Mama Don't Watch TV" and performance in German museum Pinakothek
So after that performance and after that
song.
clip was published, Mum Don't
13
Watch TV, your mum, who is still in Moscow, her flat was searched by the security services.
Yes, my mom's apartment and my father's apartment, and my father died months later after that. So one of the last things he said to me that you managed to fuck them even from abroad.
And you couldn't go to
I
attend his
couldn't.
funeral.
Funeral on Telegram and after funeral on Zoom. Interesting dystopian experience. Never thought I will have it.
You mentioned your son at the beginning. How is he doing now?
He's 18 now, since this year. And
What an interesting age.
yeah, interesting age. Interesting, yeah.
Does he support your activism?
Yeah, he supports me as like how teenager can support. He is doing the best. Iceland gave him my citizenship this year, so thank them for that. And the same day, when we were collecting passport, my mom sent me a photo of from Russian army recruiting point for him. So this is kind of how close the war can be.
I wanted to come back to the question of home. What is your home? Do you still feel Russia is your home and will be forever?
Well, mm, I don't know about forever, but I think yes, I feel, but it's 3 years since I crossed the border, even a little bit more than 3 years. So, and I know what was happening, and like I'm in permanent contact with families of political prisoners with my mom, so I'm highly likely know what is now there. It changed. So I was like living another, even like during these 3 years, country changed. So it's difficult question. Our show is my home at some point. Well, it always will be alive without like part of the heart, but it's not. Many people, like many Ukrainians, don't physically have home because that was bombed, or people from occupied territories who ran away. Physically, they have home, but it was occupied.
Maria, many thanks for sharing your thoughts and feelings. Это было очень глубоко.
Спасибо.